on the program today we have human rights lawyer Rumbidzai Dube, who works for the African Commission on Human and People's Rights. She's currently in Washington for a Magna Carta event on emerging leaders. Welcome back to Washington, Rumbi.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
Good. We know you had the town hall meeting today, and you had a chance to meet with the Prince of Wales.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, tell us what was the workshop all about, and what was your experience with Prince Charles?
Okay, so today's town hall meeting was about commemorating the 800th anniversary of the Magna Carta. And the Magna Carta is a document that originates from British history, which in effect is the source of the principle of rule of law. What it did was to state very categorically that no one is above the law, not even the king is above the law. And it's also a document that set out that lower people who are not royalty have rights, they have freedoms, they have human dignity, and are equal before the law. So the principles that we celebrate today in our constitutions of equality, of freedom, of human dignity, and the fundamental principle of the rule of law, which underlines our democracies today, comes from that background. And that was the purpose of the commemoration. In terms of the experience of meeting the prince, it was a very interesting experience in that he was humble in his royalty. He was accessible. Just talking to him was like talking to any other person. He was interested in finding out what we are doing in our different countries, what our experiences in our day-to-day lives are like, what we think the future of the rule of law in the world globally as well as in our different countries will be. So I would say in brief that was for me the experience I had today.
As a Zimbabwean, did you get a chance to talk to him about Zimbabwe? Did he ever bring up the issue of Zimbabwe?
Briefly, yes, we did talk about Zimbabwe, and he wanted to know what the future of Zimbabwe looks like and whether that future is bright. And I did mention to him that, yes, Zimbabwe's future is very bright. We, the young generation, who are the future leaders, current and future leaders of Zimbabwe, hold the future of the country in our hands, and it is up to us to take our country in the direction that we would want to see it going to. So yes, there is hope for Zimbabwe. We have so much talent. We have individuals that are very energetic. We have young people, young entrepreneurs who are doing all sorts of amazing things in the economy, in arts and culture, in history, in the legal field, in pretty much every field that a country needs for it to develop. And I feel that our future is very bright indeed with all those human resources.
As a lawyer, you work for the African Commission on Human and People's Rights, which is a very important panel for the African continent. What's your take on the issue of human rights, first of all, in Africa as a continent?
I feel that the human rights in Africa are developing, and the presence of the African Commission on Human and People's Rights in the African Court, which is based in Arusha, and the Commission, which is based in Banjul, is testament to the fact that we are making progress in the recognition of the value of human rights within our countries. These two institutions are doing wonderful work in representing citizens' interests, in addressing human rights violations, and in making specific recommendations and decisions that hold states accountable for human rights violations. So I feel that the African continent has made progress. More still needs to be done in terms of implementation of decisions that come from these institutions, and in terms of general respect of human rights, because it would be good to have less cases before those institutions, but I feel that we're going in the right direction.
Good. Now let's take it to Zimbabwe. Let's be very specific. Itai Dzamara, a journalist and human rights activist, is missing. What's your comment on that?
I think the case of Itai Dzamara is worrying to many of us who have worked very closely with human rights and in the human rights sector. It brings forth memories of the disappearance of Justina Mukoko. Not to say that the situation is the same, because at the moment we're not sure what is happening with Itai, who has taken him, and the evidence has not yet clearly shown who is responsible for his disappearance. But the fundamental thing at the center of it all is that the state has an obligation to investigate and to find out what happened to Itai. And given the nature of his work and everything that he had been doing, I think it is reasonable for people to suspect that it could have been political interference, and it is politically motivated, his disappearance here. So it is worrying. I hope he is found alive, and he needs to be reconciled with his family. It is a very worrying development. Yeah.
Being a lawyer for the African Commission is a big deal. You're a young person. You were here last year for the yearly program. Any word to other young people in Zimbabwe out there, given your high profile?
I think all I can say is that we have so much talent in Zimbabwe, and we have young people who are capable of doing a lot of things in my country. And I don't believe that I'm the brightest of them all, or that I am the best of them all. I have been fortunate to get opportunities to show what young Zimbabweans can do and to be in that position of leadership. And so what I would want to see happening is the creation of opportunities for more young Zimbabweans to have the same kind of space and opportunities that I've had to show what we are capable of as a nation. I think that's just about much I can say about that too.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Sagato Twitter Nation.